Alafia Ibe. Good health to you, family. Yoruba. It is yours truly, Amari. I am the founder of El Kebalan New Alliance. My queen, Amani Mar, is the co-founder. We focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. I want to thank all of you who have subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for your love and support, and those of you who also shared. Remember, sharing is caring. Is not just a cliche. Listen, this is about us, Nia, being restored to our purpose, to restore the African back to our traditional greatness and be responsible to our gungun, our ancestors, as well as our children and our grandchildren. All right, so we want to regain the knowledge of self. And that which we have been cut off from, we want to regain our cultural awareness. Okay? And so we're going to deal with today Kujichagulia, which is self-determination. And that is to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Okay? It is Swahili. It is the second principle in Kwanzaa. And if this was the second day of Kwanzaa, the greeting would be Habari Gani. That means what's the news, and you return that with Kujichagulia should it be the second day. Okay, then you would talk about the definition with the family, make sure that the children are involved. Why? Again, so that this information can be disseminated from generations to come, and so that the traditional generational ignorance of self will be broken off by way of our children and our grandchildren, and that the generation to come will be aware of who they are and to be able to practice a festivity that is of African origin. Now, it is of African origin, and see, this is the reason why we have to understand that when an African creates something, whether we are African in America or not, and we created it, okay, it's still ours, okay? So nevertheless, why is it important for us to define ourselves? Because of the negative light that we have of ourselves. Okay, we are not niggers, we're not female dogs, okay? We are not whores, okay? And when people embrace these labels, what they have done is now they have defined themselves, and their lives is going to show the translation of how they define themselves. Okay, nigger is a negative labeling. Okay, it is a derogatory labeling. We cannot make that into something positive. That's like, again, trying to make the word female dog, the B word, okay, a positive word. Okay, it is not positive at all. Okay, because the definition means female dog for the B word. Okay, and so with that being said, nigger is not Niger, is not Nagas. Okay, it has no African origin to it. Okay, Nagas does. Okay, Negus, but not the negative labeling of nigger. Okay, now, if you take a Pepsi Cola bottle or you take a Coca-Cola bottle and you switch the label, you put the Coca-Cola label on the Pepsi and the Pepsi on the Coca-Cola bottle. When you look at that bottle just by the labeling, even though that's not what it actually is, that's the type of view you're going to have about it. And you're going to say, that's Pepsi, that's Coca-Cola because of the labeling. Okay, that's the same way with us. Okay, when we put that labeling on us, that's not what we actually are, but that's the perception that we have of ourselves, because that is the way that we have labeled ourselves, and the translation of the way that we label ourselves is shown by the way we conduct ourselves. And this is one reason why we don't understand words of power. Words have power. Okay, life and death truly does lie within the power of the tongue. Okay, and by the way we speak, okay, it gives a person a view of us, even the way we look at one another, okay? And it has nothing to do, this has nothing to do with prejudice in this area, all right, that I'm talking about now. I'm talking about if a person, that's all every other word they use, profanity, okay? And they always want to argue. They always want to fight, okay? Now package that. And how would you view a person who speaks that way and who conducts themselves that way? You're not going to see that person as a good person, right? Okay. So how we conduct ourselves is the view that people will have of us. And so that's the reason why we have to have our own radio stations, our own social media outlets, okay, our own news programs, like more so, because Roland Martin definitely has one, Roland Martin Unfiltered, okay, but we need more than just that, okay? Now you have the issue with the Word Network, okay? Where now even our brothers and sisters who are practitioners of Christianity are experiencing racism. And so the reason why a lot of these people who are racist have a comfortability with the way they conduct themselves is when you look at the Bible, the things that are in the Bible, such as slavery, and they look at us as slaves, okay? The way they see it is that we should be subservient to them, even if they're harsh, because of what is written in the book, in the book entitled Peter. Okay, so they have a comfortability in that way of life because of what has been taught to them. So because of what has been taught to them, that's how they define us. Okay, and so what has been taught to us, that's the way we define ourselves. Okay, because that's all we've been shown in these history textbooks and on television, and what we hear on the radio. We see nothing but negative imagery. Okay? And this is the reason why we have to create for ourselves, so that way we can see ourselves in these textbooks. So that way our children can have confidence because they know our accomplishments, and they also see faces that look like theirs. Okay? We have to speak for ourselves. Why? Because we will speak the truth about who we really are and about our history. Anybody who knows anything about history knows that the Europeans lied about them being the Cushites. Okay? And we see that even in the movies, because they have Caucasians as actors as those who are Cushites, which they are, and we all know, for those who don't, you would say Ethiopian, that we are dark-skinned people. Okay. There has been inventions that we know that the patents have been stolen. That's why I'm so grateful for the movie Hidden Figures, because literally, Hidden Figures, listen, out of sight, out of mind. So therefore, if we don't see these type of imageries, we won't see ourselves as being people of greatness, because we don't have any imagery that's televised or on the movies, because all we see is gangsters, whores, drug dealers, okay, robbers, homosexuals, the movie Moonlight. Only thing we're seeing is negative views about our people. And even so much so that even the African over in Africa who looks up to us and who we are their idols, if you will, okay, they pattern their lives after the African in America by what they see on television, and that's all they see. So now you have people Okay, and I love my brother. I love his music, but even in one of his songs, he said, I got bees over in Africa, my brother DeVito. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So even he catched on to that. He came over to America, and unfortunately, his ways have been tainted by the corrupt mentality of those who are over in America. Okay? And so what we have to do is we have to clean these things up. Okay? Kaumba, creativity. We have to make our villages better than what it is when we inherited it. And we do this by restoring the African people back to their traditional greatness. And another reason why we have to speak for ourselves, because how can another people really speak for us? We need the heart of an African to speak for us. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. We need to speak for ourselves. We know our social ills because we live in the midst of it all. And even for those who may have grew up in the suburban area and their parents may be from the inner city, hopefully they told them the truth about where they come from. I remember the movie ATL. Sometimes we have those situations like that where the father, forgot where he came from, and what have you, and start thinking that they're better than our brothers and sisters in the inner city. Okay, but nevertheless, though, we have to keep in mind that even if we do make it to the top, we still are African, and we need not to compromise so we can be recognized, and we need not to forget about self in order for us to gain wealth. Period. Point blank and simple. That's why we have to have self-determination. Okay? So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, this was something that is beneficial to you. And if it is, if you would be so kind again to share and invite, make sure you subscribe to those who haven't. Make sure you hit that bell icon there. Okay? And subscribe so whenever I go live, you get some more of this powerful content. It's not only myself, I also upload videos on our various playlists, such as our economics playlist of various personalities, such as Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Brother Jay Morrison, okay, amongst others. Also on our health channel that we have there, we have Patrick Dales, we have Dr. Sabi on there. Okay, so, we have some powerful people in the Kelbalan culture playlist. We have brothers such as Prince Dinus Amir, okay, who goes over to Africa frequently, who gives you the real in regards to what's going on over there in Africa. Okay, of course, we have our ancestors, Dr. Ben, Dr. John Henry Clark, also those who are still here with us, like Baba Asher Kwesi, Baba Bobby Hemmett, Baba Phil Valentine, okay, Baba Dr. Delbert Blair, and also our ancestor, Dr. Amos Wilson. Yes, such as personalities as that. Also just various programs that are giving us actual views of the various cultures over in the motherland. Expose yourself to it so that way you can have a positive light about who we actually are, okay? So be blessed, family. Once again, we love and appreciate you. Peace, love, and power.